What if the biggest secret in Hollywood isn't hidden in some locked vault or private cloud drive, but instead right in front of us, subtly woven into the rise and fall of one of its seemingly untouchable stars? Few names shimmer as brightly in modern pop culture as Blake Lively's. From starring roles in movies and TV hits to seemingly effortless red carpet glamour, she has cultivated a reputation that's part elegance, part charm, and entirely magnetic. Yet, in the past few years, fault lines have started to appear beneath that polished exterior. Reports of behind-the-scenes clashes, jaw-dropping accusations, and expanding legal showdowns have shattered the illusion that everything in Lively's world is sunshine and success. Some claim these allegations are nothing more than a PR ploy to tarnish an actress who rose to fame on a beloved teen drama. Others believe it's a long-overdue reckoning, revealing a hidden side that's been whispered about for years. The deeper you look, the murkier it gets as new voices, some from remote corners of Hollywood, others from the highest tiers, step forward with stories that add fresh twists to an already complicated narrative. Suddenly, a star once recognized for bright smiles and on-screen warmth has become a lightning rod for scandal, speculation, and suspicion. Whether these stories paint her as victim or villain depends entirely on whose testimony you trust. Above all, the swirling storm around Blake Lively reminds us how quickly a celebrity's image can shift. Glittering success one day, startling controversies the next, and the question on everyone's lips, how much of it is real? Is this the unveiling of a deep-seated pattern or a manipulative campaign to tear her down? Let's follow the trail of hints, rumors, and hard facts, piecing together the events that led up to today's raging legal warfare. One thing is certain, this saga doesn't look like it'll fade anytime soon. Blake Lively entered the public eye in her late teens, landing a starring role as Serena van der Woodsen on the massively popular series Gossip Girl. Fans adored her for radiating warmth and cool girl confidence, an effortless big sister vibe that fueled internet fandoms and tabloid headlines alike. Yet even in those early years, backstage whispers hinted at deeper complexities. One rumor stands out. Upon learning that Penn Badgley would play her on-screen love interest, Lively allegedly tried rallying the rest of the cast against him. Reportedly, she was furious about his casting and let it be known that she thought he was all wrong for the show. Before the official pilot had even aired, tensions were said to be brewing. Initially, some co-stars might have gone along with her apprehension, either out of loyalty or because they were equally unsure about how the chemistry would unfold on screen. However, these rumored mini-alliances faded fast as Badgley's genuine nature won people over. Almost overnight, everyone who'd been skeptical changed their tune, everyone except, it seems, Lively herself. While the exact cause of her initial dislike remains unclear, some speculate it was a power play. She was the breakout face of Gossip Girl, determined to maintain a certain level of creative control behind the scenes. Others suggest it could have been a personality clash, the kind that sometimes ignites when two rising stars are forced into close contact day after day. Notably, co-star Taylor Momsen stated that she never saw any problematic behavior from Badgley, implying that any negative rumors originated solely from Lively's side. By the time the show cemented itself as a cultural phenomenon, fans were too busy rooting for Serena and Dan to notice the off-screen friction. Yet for those who kept their ears to the ground, it was an early sign that behind Blake Lively's dazzle, something contentious may have been quietly growing. But that was just the prologue to a much bigger story, one that eventually spilled from fleeting set gossip into major Hollywood headlines. The next piece of the puzzle surfaced years later, pointing to another swirl of conflict on a very different set. By then, Lively had moved on from teen soaps to more mature roles, like The Age of Adeline and The Shallows. Her involvement in the comedic thriller A Simple Favor, co-starring Anna Kendrick and Henry Golding, seemed like a perfect next step for an actress building a sophisticated film career. Yet an assistant director on that project, Barbara Seaman, eventually dropped a bombshell on social media. She blamed Lively's constant demands for her decision to quit. Seaman described an environment so stressful it left her in tears during her commute home. She alleged that Lively was nearly impossible to please, forever raising new issues and criticizing details that most wouldn't even notice. Although Hollywood is no stranger to demanding personalities, Seaman claimed Lively's behavior went beyond typical star-level fussiness, calling it outright cruel. Fans of the actress cried foul, pointing out that nobody else from the film publicly complained. Yet those defending Seaman's account argued that crew members often stay quiet to avoid blacklisting in an industry where the biggest star usually has the biggest pull. It didn't stop there. Soon, watchers of the fiasco unearthed an older incident involving an intern named Jamie. Back when Lively was promoting the sisterhood of the traveling pants, Jamie had the simplest of tasks: distribute water bottles to everyone on set. She hardly spoke a word to Lively, but according to Jamie, Lively later complained that this young intern made her uncomfortable by acting like a fangirl. Although Jamie insisted she only passed Lively in the hall, her reputation took a hit overnight. Being accused of unprofessional behavior, especially as an intern, can be devastating, effectively cutting off future opportunities in a notoriously competitive field. For some, these stories were more than random clashes. They sketched a pattern of Lively flexing star power to control or dismiss people she found inconvenient. Others defended her as a target of misunderstood interactions, pointing out how easy it is for rumors to balloon. Regardless, these narratives piled up, hinting that rumors of difficult set environments might not be isolated anecdotes after all. Even so, these accounts were only ripples compared to the tidal wave of drama headed her way once she crossed paths with Justin Baldoni on a film that turned from best-selling adaptation to full-on media circus. It Ends With Us, adapted from a popular novel, was supposed to solidify Blake Lively's standing as a serious actress with dramatic range. Justin Baldoni, known for starring in and directing heartfelt stories, came on board as co-star and producer, an ideal combination, or so it appeared at first. The excitement around the project reached a fever pitch when Lively announced her involvement on social media.
This is it.
Fans devoured every production update, only to be blindsided when the narrative shifted from cinematic love story to behind-the-scenes meltdown. Mid-production, reports began trickling out that Lively had demanded broad rewrite privileges, something few actors, however famous, typically enjoy without formal producer credits. Insiders claimed she rewrote dialogue, restructured entire scenes, and flexed her influence over the production design. While her supporters argued that Lively was simply showing passion for the material, skeptics labeled it as micromanagement. Then came the allegations that led to official paperwork hitting the courts. Lively launched a legal complaint alleging Baldoni had engaged in behavior that crossed personal boundaries. Although the original filing was vague in details, it contained strong language painting him as an aggressor. Baldoni responded by not just denying everything, but also filing a defamation countersuit. He claimed Lively orchestrated a media blitz against him to shift blame for creative disputes and tarnish his reputation. Suddenly, fans were forced to question everything they'd once assumed about both celebrities: Lively's role as a champion for women in Hollywood, and Baldoni's brand as an outspoken critic of toxicity. The gloves were off. Each side's legal team delivered fiery statements. Lively maintained that she had done nothing more than stand up against misconduct, while Baldoni insisted he was being smeared by a high-profile actress unaccustomed to being challenged. The tension showed no signs of letting up, and just when it seemed like it couldn't get any more complicated, unexpected names began surfacing, making everyone realize how many people could be caught in the crossfire. Enter Candace Owens. Known for polarizing commentary and high-profile takedowns, Owens claims to have come into possession of a list naming victims of Blake Lively's alleged behavior. The so-called leak set off a series of chain reactions, with some labeling Owens a provocateur while others considered her revelations a potential window into Lively's past. The heart of the leak was the suggestion that numerous individuals in the industry might have been negatively impacted by Lively but stayed silent out of fear or career concerns. Owens refrained from releasing specifics, fueling a storm of speculation on social media about who these victims might be. Was the list credible? Could it include old classmates from Gossip Girl, producers from smaller indie films, or even people outside the entertainment sphere? Nobody knew for sure. Critics quickly pointed out that Owens often targets mainstream celebrities in the hope of making headlines. Perhaps, they said, she latched onto the Lively Baldoni story to stir further controversy. Others argued that even if Owens' track record is divisive, it doesn't automatically disprove her sources. For Lively's fans, this felt like the final straw, an intrusion by a political commentator they see as opportunistic. Meanwhile, the new wave of rumors put the actress's alleged pattern of bullying and manipulation back under the microscope. Then came the corporate and legal heavyweights, each with a vested interest in either bringing the truth to light or burying it, depending on whom you ask. While the It Ends With Us fiasco raged, another storyline erupted. Jed Wallace, head of a crisis mitigation firm, slapped Blake Lively with a defamation suit. According to Wallace, Lively defamed him by claiming he orchestrated a bot-fueled smear campaign against her. Her legal filings portrayed Wallace as a puppet master pulling the strings of online trolls, ensuring that negative stories about her spread far and wide. Wallace shot back, stating that he'd never participated in any hush-hush digital warfare. Instead, he framed himself as collateral damage in a high-stakes battle between Lively and Baldoni, claiming Lively's side singled him out to divert attention from her own questionable tactics. If you ask Lively's legal team, though, Wallace's countersuit is just another attempt to intimidate and financially drain her. They insist the notion of organized harassment is all too real in Hollywood, and that Wallace's role was integral to an orchestrated plan of character assassination. The layers of litigation quickly became dizzying. Lively filed one complaint, Baldoni countersued. Wallace weighed in with his own defamation claim. PR experts called the entire situation a nightmare scenario, in which private vendettas collide with massive star power. Online platforms lit up with amateur sleuths analyzing everything from email timestamps to paparazzi photos, hoping to piece together the ultimate truth. Amid this frenzy, something else caught the public's attention: Lively's relationships with her famous friends and family. Many fans wondered where Ryan Reynolds stood. He was named in Baldoni's countersuit for allegedly participating in strategic leaks to the media. Then there's Taylor Swift, known for rallying fiercely around her close-knit circle but suspiciously silent about this entire debacle. And that leads us to one of the strangest twists of all. Why has one of the world's loudest superstars kept so quiet? Taylor Swift and Blake Lively have long been portrayed as best friends, an ideal match of vibrant personalities who share in-jokes, holiday parties, and even co-star in each other's social media posts. Swift is famously protective of her inner circle, quick to pen supportive tweets or references in her songs. Whether it's a friend's heartbreak or a personal triumph, she has rarely hesitated to speak up, until now. The absence of any public statement from Swift on Lively's escalating legal drama has grown more conspicuous with each passing day. Swift's social media channels, usually buzzing with hints of public stances, remain silent. Some fans believe Swift is quietly supporting Lively behind the scenes, choosing not to inflame an already volatile situation. Others interpret the silence as Swift's subtle way of distancing herself. If she truly believed Lively was in the right, wouldn't she at least say a few words of solidarity? According to a viral fan theory, Swift's reticence could indicate she has doubts about Lively's claims. Another angle is that Swift might be heeding the advice of her own legal team to avoid stepping into a lawsuit that's already complicated beyond measure. Maybe she doesn't want to risk a subpoena or be forced to testify about text messages or private gatherings. After all, if Lively's allegations eventually crumble, Swift's public brand could take collateral damage by association. But Swift's silence isn't the only rift in the Hollywood response. Actress Jenny Slate has reportedly stepped up in Lively's defense, claiming that the actress deserves more empathy than she's getting. Slate's stance underscores a broader split in the entertainment industry. Some maintain that Lively's philanthropic history and female empowerment messaging can't be overlooked, while others see these controversies as proof that a carefully managed public image can conceal more problematic real-life behavior. The stage is set for a complex show of alliances, feuds, and potential betrayals, but there's more to unravel before the final curtain drops. As the lawsuits continue to stack up, more details slip into public view. Redacted court documents hint at text messages allegedly sent between Lively and Baldoni, discussing script changes and press strategies. In one excerpt, Lively appears to compliment a set rewrite, while also referencing the presence of her husband Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift in the same meeting. Baldoni's legal team claims this proves he was under constant pressure from Lively's circle, a network so influential it could make or break reputations with a single phone call to the right journalist or powerful executive. Meanwhile, Lively's representatives argue that these text messages show nothing more than normal back and forth between co-stars and friends. They insist Baldoni is conjuring conspiracies to mask his own misdeeds, pointing out that if he truly believed he was being bullied by two of Hollywood's biggest A-listers, why wouldn't he have raised red flags sooner? Whichever side you believe, the narrative is now swirling with more subplots than the average movie script. The young assistant director who tearfully quit under alleged bullying, the intern singled out for merely walking by a teenage Lively, the crisis manager who claims he was scapegoated in a smear campaign, and Candace Owens brandishing a rumored victim list. Each news story amplifies the sense that we're witnessing a multi-layered meltdown rather than a single incident. Industry analysts are already pointing to possible outcomes. One scenario sees Lively and Baldoni settling everything quietly, with minimal revelations actually making it to a courtroom. Another envisions a scorched earth trial where depositions, emails, and testimonies from big names like Taylor Swift could be read aloud in a public forum, potentially tarnishing reputations for good. Then there's the question of what the public truly wants to see. Are casual fans seeking a sensational blowout? Or do they long for a peaceful resolution so these actors can get back to doing what they're supposed to do, make entertaining films? No matter which way the legal rulings go, there's a storm of questions that won't vanish overnight, and it's time to pose them in a final reflection. Put everything together, and you have a story that's part soap opera, part courtroom drama, and entirely gripping. Once hailed as Hollywood royalty, Blake Lively finds herself in the middle of a swirling vortex of allegations. From behind-the-scenes friction on early TV sets to more pointed claims about rewriting entire films without telling producers. The specifics have become so tangled that it's almost impossible to pinpoint exactly where reality ends and gossip begins. Is she an actress with strong creative instincts who's been systematically vilified for challenging a broken system? Or has she, in fact, weaponized her influence to silence critics and control the narrative at every turn? Truth might lie somewhere in the gray areas, wrapped up in the complexities of an industry where power dynamics can overshadow honest collaboration. Justin Baldoni, once praised for his outspoken activism, stands accused of behavior he's publicly condemned in others. Meanwhile, top-tier figures like Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift circle the edges, leaving fans to debate whether they're supportive or suspicious. Controversies and lawsuits aren't just about a single film or a single personality clash. They strike at the heart of how Hollywood itself operates, a place where image often matters more than authenticity, and where loyalty is traded like currency. In an era where social media can amplify any rumor, the stakes have never been higher for those caught in the crossfire. One question looms above all else: what happens next? With trial dates set and countersuits stacking up, the path forward is anything but predictable. A dramatic public trial could shine a blazing spotlight on Hollywood's hush-hush practices, revealing an underbelly of marketing manipulations, hush-money deals, and influence peddling that usually stays hidden. Or maybe cooler heads will prevail, forging a discreet settlement that leaves us with more questions than answers. In the end, the story is far from over. As new details surface, and as the internet's collective detective work churns out theories, Blake Lively's reputation hangs in the balance. Will she emerge vindicated, stronger than ever? Or will this legal tangle shape a new public perception of her, a complicated star no longer untouchable whose gilded image might be tarnished beyond repair? It's a high-stakes cliffhanger in the grand drama of celebrity culture, and all we can do is watch as each chapter unfolds, hoping to glimpse the truth in an arena where illusions often reign supreme.